What's up, guys? We all know what's on the menu this Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you guys are all doing good today. Hope you guys are taking it easy, not working too hard. I want to make a video on expansions because this Thanksgiving we were gifted King of Triss trophies, at least for my realm, hopefully your realm too. And that's going to allow us to get tons and tons of free expansion blueprints. We also, a couple weeks ago, we had the test packs, and if any of you guys got the test packs, you got a bunch of Royal expansion blueprints. So what to build, what expansions to build, that's what we're going to talk about this episode. I've been really pondering this a lot the last couple of weeks, and now seems like as good a time as ever to talk about it. So I guess the first basic thing is pretty much once you hit a certain Citadel level, it's either 30 or 35, you can start building the expansions. And then every 10 levels Citadel, you get an extra expansion slot. Also, there's a pack that you can buy an additional expansion slot. I've seen that pack. I got that pack a while ago. And then the other way is with Ravis. So if you have a Ravis and you get them above, I think it's like 102, 103, you finally get enough mastery skill points to get his additional expansion. The expanded influence skill gives you another expansion. So with all that being said, for me at Citadel 65, I can build 6 expansions. So with the Ravis, one from the pack, the other 4 are from the Citadel levels. So I think I get the next one at 70. Not 100%, but for me it's 6. You can't build more than you can't build unlimited amounts, right? So which ones you build is pretty important. Another important thing to note is when you deconstruct it, blueprints are destroyed. You don't get them back. So it's important to build build the one that you're going to want, right? You don't want to keep building them up and then deconstructing it because you don't want that one anymore. So it's something to think about. Let's really break it down. I'm going to go over which ones. Wow. This is a very, very inopportune time for my game to crash on me. So let's just go over all the different options, and I'm going to rank them. Or at least, of course, it's depending on how you play and where you're at in the game, which ones you want to build kind of changes. But I'll just talk about it for me, and then kind of expand upon that too. So let's click the build here. Let's see what our options are. I think I'm going to start with which ones I think the worst ones to build are. And for me, the absolute worst one to build is the military command outpost. It sounds really good, produces materials used to train level 7 troops, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't produce enough to make much difference. And on top of that, the bonuses you get from this expansion just aren't that great. So I'm going to put that one at the very bottom. And right where it deserves, in my opinion. You'll see some of these on the map, but it just doesn't produce enough materials to really save you all that much. You can instant train T7 troops with platinum, and it's not that expensive in terms of platinum costs. So I'm going to say just skip this expansion altogether. It's just not worth it. The other thing is, you're only at level 7 troops for a while, right? In a couple of months, we're going to have T8 troops. So there's just like a year period where you actually could even possibly use these resources. But again, just use platinum, skip this one. It's just not worth it. So I'm going to put that one at the very bottom. In my opinion, the next worst one is the Guardian Enclave or Enclave. Now, some people love this one, right? Some people will tell you this is the one to build, and there is a handful of people that this is the expansion to build. The downside of it is you're going to need a lot of mercenary rations because it doesn't give you mercenary rations. It just produces guardian shields. And, that's great if you have like a bajillion mercenary rations. But the other downside, too, is guardian shields can only be used to make normal guards, crowns guards, and frost guardians, right? Like they're all weaker guardians. As the game goes on, those guardians are really good. Like if your realm's just a few months old, or even up to probably like 8 months old realm, you could probably get away with having Frost Guardians and Crowns cards. But as time goes on, those guys are just outdated. Like you're going to need, at this point, you need Golden Guardians or you need the Undying Guardians to really help out your. I mean, even if you have a million Crowns cards, not going to help all that much. The only benefit to that is they're going to take up mercenary troop capacity rather than your normal troop capacity. But again, you know, if you have a bajillion, if you've got a bajillion mercenary rations and you don't mind using an expansion slot for that, by all means go for it. Don't let me talk you out of it. I can show you the buffs here. So here's a level 6 Guardian Enclave. And I was leveling this one up on a farm account just to see if you hit a certain level, maybe it would produce mercenary rations. But I don't think it's the case. I think it just produces more and more Guardian Shields. But you can see at least what it produces at level 7. I mean, it produces a lot of shields, but that means you're going to need a lot of mercenary rations. The bonuses are okay. You get the mark size, which all expansions will give you. And you also get the Mercenary Guardian Armor bonus. And as you level it up too, it allows you to train. You don't need to wait for a particular opening to train the different troops. Like it doesn't. You can't always train Frost Guardians, right? You need to wait until a certain. They open it up into mercenary fighting pits, which they don't always do. But if you have this leveled up, you can train Frost Guardians without having to wait for that time window, which is kind of cool. But for me, the bonuses just isn't good enough. I'd prefer to have an Ice Well and get armor that way versus just getting a specific Guardian armor bonus. But again, you know, there is an argument to be made for the, like, I would prefer that over the T7 material production expansion. So let's move on. After that, in my opinion, the next worst one is the Blacksmith. And Blacksmith, it'll produce chests that'll give you mats for, you know, for crafting gear, and yeah, really just crafting gear, right? So while it's cool to have those mats, you know, we have the Power Hall, we have the Sanctum of Power Guild Hall, which is going to give you all the materials you need. Like that's the best way to get materials. The Blacksmith was really good up until that Sanctum of Power Guild Hall was released, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I don't remember the buff that this gives. I want to say it might even be, well, I'm not going to even speculate, but it gives you some buff. So you get march size, and then it gives you another buff, but it's not a troop buff. It's some buff, some additional buff that'll apply elsewhere in your, you know, like growing process. But I don't think it was all that great, if I remember correctly. Otherwise, I think I would remember it a little better. But yeah, I would skip this one. Personally, that's just me. You could get better buffs from different expansions, and again, for chests, for gear crafting materials, the Sanctum of Power is the best way to go. And, you know, you get it just, there's other ways to get materials. So I would skip this. That's going to be near the bottom for me. Moving on, my opinion, the next worst one is the District. And you could even say this one's even worse than, than the others. Like, you could make the argument this is one of the worst ones. So it'll drop building blueprints and research scrolls, tomes, and resources. The problem is it drops low-level resources and low-level building blueprints. So I want to say as you level it up, it drops higher grade blueprints, research tomes, and scrolls and resources. But we're at the point, I mean, once you get to the, even like once they open up T6 and T7 resources, it's pretty easy. Like marble is not such an issue anymore, which is what the District drops at its base level. It drops marble, it drops T3 resources, which are kind of useful up until you get T5 troops, but once you're past T5 troops, you don't need that much marble. And the marble you do need, you can get pretty easily from events and other things. So, and also for blueprints, we have good realm bosses. We've got, I mean, it drops it in packs. If you're buying packs, really there's tons of ways to get blueprints. I would not worry about the District. Like, for me, skip it. That's another one. I don't remember what the buff is for the District. So each one they give march size and then the additional buff. I don't remember what the district one is, but oh, it's gathering speed bonus. Oh, it's right here. I should probably read, huh? So now, did it say? Let me see if it said for the blacksmith. Okay, so rally attack bonus on the blacksmith. That's actually could be useful. That's not the worst buff. So wow, I should probably read these. Yeah, so you get a rally attack bonus with the blacksmith. That could be useful. That's certainly more useful than the gathering speed bonus. So yeah, I would put district down near the bottom of worst expansions to build. It's right there with the Guardian Enclave and the military command outpost. So going further down the list, in my opinion, the next worst one, well, it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. I'm going to go ahead and say the Commander Academy. Now, this is another one. You could make the argument that the Commander Academy is useful, and I think it is useful if you have no commanders. And yeah, if you have no commanders, it's kind of useful. But the thing is, the commander bonus, so you get the march size and you get it'll produce chests to train or to open up troop commanders. And troop commanders are going to have a variety of buffs. There's a mage buff one, there's a crystal assault buff one, there's one for each troop, there's HP ones, a bunch of different commanders. So, you know, naturally having more and more commanders, you can sacrifice them in marches, which is helpful. And there's tons of things you can do with the commanders. The downside is the buffs aren't all that great, right? Like, even if you get a level 3 commander, you're talking only 100, what is it? Let's actually look this up because it's kind of important. But the buffs for the commanders just aren't, they're not that great. They're not so great that you would be super excited about farming that up all the time. So 20% warrior. So here's a level 1 warrior attack commander buffer, and it'll give you 20% attack. If you have a level 2, 50. Level 3 is 90. And yeah, I don't think it doesn't drop higher than level 3. Now, here's where it gets kind of interesting, is if you have a lot of, so you can rank up commanders, right? You can rank up commanders in the commander hall. So if you have a bajillion commander commendations, it's kind of interesting because you could rank up level 1 into 2, and then you can rank up your 2 to 3. So I mean, if you're farming up tons and tons of commanders, you could eventually rank them all up to 5. But the downside is, even at 5, it's only 500% for warriors, 5 mages. That's not all that great. If you're comparing that buff to a buff from your wells, I would much prefer having an earth well or a fire well than I would having a bunch of all 5 commanders. So I would say particularly if you have a Gladio, I don't think there's much reason to make that commander expansion. It is kind of nice to get the additional attack bonus to commanders, but if I remember correctly, it's not that big of an attack buff with commanders. Let me see if I can find one. There's got to be somebody with a... oh, actually, I know where one is. I know where one is. Good old Thunderstrike's actually going to have some value. He's got one. And yeah, so let's look at the buffs. So at level 4, you get a 400% troop attack with commander. So again, that's not that great. I'd rather have a level 4 Firewell for sure, because Firewells are going to give you, they're going to give you attack, and you're not going to have your commander with your troops to get the attack buff from the Firewell. It's going to apply to all your marches all the time, all your troops. So yeah, even at level 4, it's a higher attack bonus. Now it takes a little more blueprints to get to level 4, but to me, if you're playing long term, I would go Firewell if you want the attack and not focus on the commander. That's me. You know, I don't like talking people out of things, but I talk myself out of that, building the commander expansion. So back to our list here. So yeah, Commander Academy, near the bottom for me. Near the bottom for me. Let's move onward. Next on my list, I would put the Moogle Village kind of down near the bottom. Now, the Moogle Village, it could be really cool. Like, you can make a case that for some people it might be the expansion build. For one, it uses the Royal Prince. So the military command outpost, Moogle Village, and Jewel Mine, these all use the Royal expansion blueprints. Now, Moogle credits are pretty useful. You can get teleports, you can get hero skill resets, you can get some gear. Like there's tons of uses for the Moogle credits, which is what the Moogle Village produces. So I'm not hating on it at all. I would recommend to a lot of people build the Moogle Village because you can produce at least a teleport every day. You can produce hero skill resets every day, and as you level it up, it drops quite a bit of credits, especially if you have a Ravis, using Ravis's expansion production. Now, real quick, I'm going to sidetrack here and talk a little bit more about Ravis because he's so vital to expansions, particularly his hero skills. You've got two skills here, expansion production and expansion cost reduction. One thing I noticed is the expansion cost reduction only applies to normal building blueprints, like normal building expansion blueprints. The royal building blueprints you don't get any reduction for. Just a little sidebar there. But this production does apply to the Moogle Village. It applies to the Jewel Mine. So, and at max you get 462 or 63. It's tough to tell there with the their animation, but it's either 460. Let's say it's 462% expansion production. So if you have a Moogle Village, you're getting a lot of Moogle credits every day if you have Ravis, this skill maxed, and at 101 you can max it. Yeah, so I'm not hating at all on that Moogle Village. The one downside is there's a limited time period where you can spend those Moogle credits. And it's been weeks since we've been able to spend Moogle credits. I've been sitting on 55,000. So, I'd love to be able to spend that 55,000. That's 30 teleports or 20-something teleports. I can get 20 skill resets. I get tons of gear. I can get some different crafting scrolls, all kinds of stuff in the Moogle Village. And who knows, in the future they might even make better and better stuff in the Moogle Village because it updates. So, not hating at all on the Moogle Village. Pretty worthy one to build. I'm trying to remember what the other buff was for the Moogle Village. So as you level it up, trading tax reduction. So it's actually possible to have 0% trading tax. I had it for a while when I had my Moogle Village. So you can trade without any cost. So that's really nice. If you want to send somebody mana or T5 or T6 resources, you can do it perfectly free. So you can make an argument there for the Moogle Village as well. If you're a really good guildmate and you're hooking your guildmates up with resources, that Moogle Village, it doesn't even take much, right? Like by level 3, you pretty much have a 0% trading tax. So you can give out resources without any, losing any value, right? Like your guild benefits, if anything, if you're giving resources down to the weaker players. Of course, the downside, though, is you can only send so many resources per march, and it takes all day to send any amount that's actually helps anybody, right? Like, it would take me hours to send an obsidian to just upgrade a few buildings for somebody else. But, hey, you can do it for free if you have the Moogle Village, or without any additional cost. You still need to have the resources to give them away, so there's that. But, yeah, Moogle Village, not a bad way to go. Let's move on. Next on the list, make sure I'm not skipping over any, I would put the Jewel Mine. This is another one. For you, this could be the perfect expansion because it produces a couple key, really important things. As you can see here, I have 2 of those. Now, this is kind of temporary. Eventually, I'm going to deconstruct them. But until I do, I love these guys. So let's look here. Actually, let's look at my other one because it's a level 5. So let's look at the level 6. It produces 11 chests every hour if you have Ravis's skill maxed. Without Ravis's skill maxed, it only produces like 4 or 5. It's not very good. But if you have Ravis's skill max, you can get 11 every hour. That's over 200 chests every day. And real quick, I'm going to farm these up. and we'll open them, and I'll show you guys exactly why I love them so much. But yeah, it drops just a complete collection of gems, all kinds of stuff, and it also, it's other skill. You get the march size, which, you know, it's decent march size, right? But chances are, at some point, we don't have a way to farm up royal expansion blueprints right now that I've seen. You have to buy them in the gold store. So that means you're either going to have to spend a lot of money. Like, if I were to deconstruct this, I could build up another expansion using the normal blueprints, which I can get in the Moogle village or in the Moogle market right now during this Kingatris event. So I could get quite a bit higher march size if I had the, like, an earth well or an ice well. But in the meantime, you know, okay, whatever. So you get the, let's focus on the jewel mine. I shouldn't be downplaying this. So let's focus on the jewel mine here. You'll get the loot tile gather speed, decent percentage, so that'll help you farm out. It'll help you farm out the Kingatris layers quicker, a little bit faster. It'll help you, you know, what kind of, any monster tiles, any of that kind of tile. We haven't had much worth farming up recently, except for the Kingtris tiles, which will give you credits for the Kingtris, you know, Moogle tokens. And it also drops the gems. So now that we collected the gems, let's open them up and see what we get. So right now, there's really not very many good ways to get gems, right? Like, we've got, really the best way to get gems is Bandit Empires. And the problem with Bandit Empires is they only come every once in a while, and it's been a while since we've had a Bandit Empire. So how do you get good gems, guys? There's not very many good ways. You used to be able to get gems in quests, but once your Citadel is above 50, it stops dropping crafting materials and gems in the quests. So once your Citadel is 50, that's it. How else do you get gems? It's not a good way. You get some attacking people, but it's pretty rare. You get some when you hit the next Citadel level. You can get some in the guild store, but you can't get the Paragon Nightmare gems in the guild store, and you can't get, you know, you can't really get any good gems in the guild store, to be honest. But yeah, let's open this up. So it's going to drop level 2 and level 3 gems. You get assault gems. You'll get all different kinds of Paragon gems, which are, they're tough to get. And the big one, guys. Now this is why I love the jewel mine, and why, if you don't have good Paragon gems, the jewel mine's worth building. Paragon Nightmare gems here. So I find that I can get a level 4 every day if I'm collecting these expansions. And I have a level 4 and level 5 one, but a level 4 Paragon Nightmare gem, actually it might even be 2 every day. I get a lot of these. I get a lot of these Paragon Nightmare gems. And as you level them up, so what are they? If you don't know, they are going to give you MP recovery. And it seems like, to me, the most important thing for growing in this game right now is hero MP. It's attacking realm bosses. It's attacking Kingatris trophies, or, you know, the Kingatris monsters to get the trophies. You need MP recovery. And most of the strong players are getting most of their MP recovery from these gems. So once you get the level 5, the level 6, the level 7, their MP recovery is just tremendous. So let me see. I think I have a level 7. Let's look at it. Let's embed this sucker. So 147%. 147% for the level 7 MP recovery. That's a lot of MP recovery for one Paragon gem. Now, it's going to take you a while to get a level 7, but the jewel mine is kind of a long-term investment, right? It's basically saying, hey, I need Nightmare Paragon gems. How am I going to get them? Well, until Bandit Empire invasion comes, we're stuck with nothing or the jewel mine. That's your options. Not having them or having the jewel mine and then getting some that way. At least until Bandit invasion. Good God, please give us another Bandit invasion. I'm going to go so hard the next Bandit invasion, but until we get it, we're stuck with jewel mines, and it's so important in MP recovery. Yeah, so that's why you can make an argument that jewel mine's one of the most important things for growth in this game if we don't get another bandit invasion. Now, if we get a bandit invasion next week, these are kind of useless because you can get so many gems in one invasion if you're trying really hard that, you know, it would take months and months of these expansions to add up to one good bandit invasion. So hopefully we get a bandit invasion, but if we don't, in the meantime, these things are pretty valuable. So moving on, that really just leaves all the wells: the fire well, the ice well, the lightning well, and the earth well. All are extremely important in the age of elemental troops. So many different reasons you're going to want to build the fire, the ice, the lightning, and the earth. I would recommend having one of each. That's just me. I think they're so much more valuable than the other expansions that you're going to want one of each, because once you get, let's just real quick before we look at their buffs, let's look at the Elemancy Hall, because this is where you're going to be spending. So that each one of these wells, they drop materials to upgrade your troops into elementals. And once, in order to promote level 7 elemental troops, you need each essence. So I would recommend building one of each. Yeah, I think that's just the best long-term thing to do. Build one of each at least, maybe more. Maybe you want to build 2 of certain ones, but one of each seems to be smart. That's what most people, once they hit mid-60s Citadel, they have one of each. Like, that's what I've noticed. Pretty much everybody has one of each. That's a big player in the realms. So that means they're valuable, right? And people realize how valuable they are. The essence is so good for promoting your troops are so good. Look at this. So it turns your level 7 troops into a level 9 attack, 3 or 5, 6. Yeah, a tier 9 attack, tier 8 defense and HP. So yeah, if you want T8 troops without having to spend $1 bajillion or wait months to level up your Citadel, this is the way to do it. And you can do it with the wells, but you'll need one of each. But in the meantime, I do have a preference on which ones I think are the better ones to build. For me, the Earth Well is my favorite because it gives you troop HP. And so they all have the same cost to build, right? So and they all give you the same march size as you level them up. But real quick, I'll go up to slow because these are all super leveled. Like, look, he's got a level 20 now. It's in construction. That's so awesome. This dude's just a beast. But yeah, look at, so the level 20, 70,000 march size. And then, yeah, so I guess I should go through. The lightning wells give you armor piercing, 20,000 at level 20. That's nice. Let's see, he's got a level 19 earth, so that means we can see what the level 20 gives you. Gives you troop HP, 20,000%. 20,000% troop HP. So here's me. I would rather have 20,000% troop HP than 20,000% armor piercing. So if you're trying to decide which one to level more, it's something to think about. I guess you need to decide, are you building these wells primarily for the essence? If so, what essence do you want more than the others? Or are you building it for the troop buffs, which are awesome? So if you're building it for the troop buff, to me, the troop HP 20,000, that's about as good as it gets, right? The other good one, the fire gives you attack. So 20,000 troop attack, to me, those are the best two. I want the troop HP and I want the troop attack. It's going to apply to all your troops all the time, regardless of if they're with the hero or not. That's a big buff. 20,000? So, yeah. Nice. The other thing to think about, too, is fire elementals are good for city assaults. So you're going to need more fire troops or more fire essence to promote your fire troops if you want to be doing a lot of city assaults with them. So in that case, maybe you want to lean towards fire. If you're focused more on defense, then the earth one's going to be a little more important because you know, you need 4x whatever elemental troop type you're trying to train for the tier 7, you need 4x more essence for that one. So if you're building a lot of fire troops, you're going to need a lot of fire essence. But cool thing is, once you get up in the mid-teens, and especially up in the 20, you're getting so much essence every hour that you can sacrifice these troops all day long. He's getting 200,000 essence every hour. That's 50,000 tier 7 promotions for the fire. That's insane. So he can be literally sending a march out, a full march of like 500,000. It can get eaten every day, and that's not a big loss. He just replaces that within a day. So really cool. I need to level up my expansions pretty bad because that would be so nice to just send troops to their death and not have to worry about it. Send elemental troops to their death, not have to worry about it. So yeah, in my opinion, I would go Earth and Fire. Those are, in my opinion, the best two. You can make an argument for Ice because right now Shiva buffs Ice troops. It buffs Ice elementals. So if you have if your Ice well is really leveled, you can get way more Ice essence. Yeah, so Ice essence is awesome. And cool thing here too, 78,750% troop armor bonus. That's good armor. So I'm not hating on that. You could easily make an argument this is the best well to try to level more than the others. Ice troops, they're going to be good for attacking the crystal. So if you're attacking a lot of crystals, you're going to need a lot more Ice troops. Of course, with Shiva too, buffing the Ice troops, they're good. They're going to be good for city assaults. They're going to be good for defense. They're going to be good for attacking the crystal. You probably even make the case they're best for defending the crystal because you can get so much buffs from Shiva on your Ice troops. So yeah, Ice well, pretty solid way to go. One thing though, you may not need to level this up too much more than your other expansions because Shiva gives you a pretty sizable, let's actually look because I don't remember exactly what it is, but Shiva will give you a pretty sizable, let's see which one is it, this one? Yeah, bonus production to Ice wells, 500%. So even if your Ice well is the same level as the others, you could still get enough production from this skill on Shiva if you have it maxed that, yeah, you're set. You don't really have... I've never run out of Ice essence. Typically for me, I keep running out of Earth and Fire because I'm just lagging behind on leveling these two up. Just because I need these blueprints, but I'm trying to get my expansion, my Elemency Hall max. My brain's starting to slow down. I guess that means I should probably start wrapping this up. Yeah, but I didn't level up my fire too much because I don't have this unlocked in the Elemency Hall yet. So until I get this unlocked, I haven't needed too much fire essence. But ooh, that would be nice. I'm getting ready, guys. I'm stocking up. I've been storing up on 25 million Ice essence. So that's a testament to just how good Shiva's bonus production is. 25 million. Wow, yeah, I definitely don't need to level that one up for a while. For me, Fire and Earth, I need to level those two up quite a bit. Definitely. So yeah, guys, that's my list. I guess I'll just do a quick summary for those of you who jumped to the end, who just came for the goods and didn't really care for the bogus, rambling on I've done. So the worst one, Military Command Outpost. Next worst one, Guardian Enclave. Next worst one, I'm going to say District and also the Blacksmith. Next on the list, Moogle Village, Jewel Mine, and the best ones, did I skip one? The Commander Academy, that's kind of in the middle, but the best ones are the wells. You get the Earth Well, the Lightning Well, the Ice Well, and the Fire Well. They're going to give you the most march size when you max them. They're going to give you the essence you need for the elementals. They're going to give you the best buffs for your troops. So yeah, these four right here, can't go wrong with one of each at least. At some point I'm going to have 6 of these. At some point I'll have 7 of these once I get another expansion slot. Ooh. I have to call my mother back. It is Thanksgiving after all. Thank you, Mom, for giving birth to me. So here we are, guys. I'm thankful for a lot of things, in particular the Fire, Ice, Lightning, and Earth Well. Alright, guys, that's it for right now. Pretty soon, we've got a crystal that's going to be opening up for battle. 3 hours. So I'm going to make another video, all things on capturing the crystal, and all things crystal defense, crystal assaults. We're going to try to break it down. We're going to have some crystal battles here. If anybody contends for it, we're gonna go for it, guys. I don't know if I'm quite strong enough yet. Like, there's enough people in my realm that are quite a bit stronger than me, but I'll at least give them a run for their money in 3.5 hours. So check back tonight. There will be another video. It's going to be all about crystal assaults. Ooh, it's going to be fun. Let's do it, guys. Exciting times. All right, take it easy. Happy Thanksgiving.